Before the case of the Boston Strangler broke, the mentality of Bostonians in the 1950s was typical of the entire country and sets the stage for one of the great true crime stories of the 20th century. America in the 1950s wanted to forget about the world trauma of fascism and protect what mattered most, their families. And since Phil knew he wanted to be a cop, he figured there was no better way to protect and serve than be a civil servant in the city he loved and grew up in, Boston. In this sense, Phil was simply put a family man. He liked to listen to Connie Francis, lived amongst other firefighters and policemen in West Roxbury, loved St. Jude, the patron saint of hopeless causes, would march his kids out in front of his 8mm home movie camera on special occasions, and wouldn't miss a parade, so long as he had the day off. And this was true throughout the city. If Boston were a person, its kinship might be identified as son to England, daughter of the Revolution, cousin to the Transcendentalists, uncle to the Irish, aunt to the Italians, and friend to all, just as long as you're a Red Sox fan. So whether it's 1950 or 2050, Boston will always be Chowda, Beacon Hill, Paul Revere, and families. These days, although the city has been turned upside down by the Big Dig and the town has grown a few buildings, it's been the people of Boston who are the constant. Come 1960, the once intellectual hub of the universe was now finding its streets filled with crime. Once upon a time, Boston was not crew teams on the Charles, duck boats in the Common, and a Sunday stroll in the combat zone. Although in 1858, Cambridge-born Oliver Wendell Holmes Sr. dubbed Boston's State House the hub of the universe, a century later, the once intellectual capital of the world with universities like Harvard and MIT was virtually crime-ridden and run down. But it was finally in 1960 when John Collins succeeded John Hines as mayor, the great Ted Williams waved goodbye to Fenway Park, and Bill Russell led the Celtics to their second straight NBA championship, that Boston began its renewal.
He will, and the Celtics pour it on.
The city was finally going to put itself back on the map with the construction of the Prudential Building, and my grandfather was one of the city's finest. Second-generation good police, proud to be in blue, and clean up the streets of his town. But during this time of optimism, beside the petty crime of purse snatcher, thieves, pimps, prostitutes, and burglars, Boston housed the makings of a serial murderer who defied society's perception of what it means to be a killer.